Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling Review Series for the 1st of May 2000, or not 2000, but 1982. Wish Mid Atlantic Wrestling and actual good wrestling was around in the 2000s, but not so much. Died a long time ago and probably isn't returning. But anyway, this is the 1st of May 1982. Basically, the idea that we are going to have matches without disqualifications or countouts for the foreseeable future is the main idea of what's going on here, and ultimately we kind of go forward in that direction, as it were. And again, kind of having a little bit of a run there. Uh, we kind of get Wahoo McDaniel and Morocco versus um, Carl Fergie and Bill White. That's the first in the run of things here. Super basic as we go forward. Also, there is a square off with Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper basically insulting the Native American heritage of Jack Briscoe, not wanting to go terribly far ahead with things, but Briscoe and Piper eventually do battle for quite a bit here. But as mentioned, the team of McDaniels and Morocco also do a pretty big deal here. They've won the Western Tournament and want to go forward to be the World Tag Team Champions at the time. Wahoo manages a bunch of chops, arm bars, arm locks, and the like, basically going to town on Fergie during the early stages of the contest, as it were, and ultimately gets a couple of chops in on everything here. Doesn't get all he wants, but does manage to get pretty well enough. And, reverse chin locks, takedown, and working over the leg with a modified leg hold, and then into almost a half crab by McDaniels. Morocco a bit more, I don't even know if athletic is the right word, but more driven towards simplistic athletics as we get things going back his way. Morocco gets a shot across the top of the head, and then a big slam by Daniels for the victory there. The team of Morocco and Daniels looks to be in amazing shape as far as things going forward. Then we get to a match between, or a highlighted match between Sergeant Slaughter and Wahoo McDaniels. I say highlighted only because it literally is only short highlights, but in fact, atomic drop and other basic maneuvers, Wahoo is dominant throughout. Wahoo catches a shot to the midsection. This seems like it's from the studio, but manages to go a bit before. Slaughter catches him with a clothesline, a hard clothesline, and basic maneuvers around. And then we continue to see Slaughter trying to get as much brawling as he possibly can. Good brawl between Slaughter and Wahoo as they kind of go heads up with each other, just toe to toe, punch, punch, kick, kick, and then Wahoo eventually gets the pin on Slaughter, which is rare, especially on television, and the fans are solidly behind him. Mike Rotundo, who is new to the area, is supportive of the idea that that match took place. Terry Taylor out says he finally wants to get his hands, or actually, I think Ray Stevens is out and wants to get his hands on whomever he can. But then we see Terry Taylor come out talking about getting his hands on Don Kernoodle. He's sick of Sergeant Slaughter. He's sick of everything and everyone as it relates to the whole Slaughter Kernoodle deal here. The Taylor and Slaughter and Kernoodle have been going to town for a bit with each other, but they finally go at it one-on-one here. The continuation of matches, as mentioned before, in a more aggressive nature. Taylor, you know, finally coming into his own, shoulder tackles after wrestling his way free from heavy interference, also arm bars and such by Taylor. Taylor trying to get as much of an advantage as he possibly can in the cinch ups and other basic maneuvers there. Um, and again, um, you know, go behinds by Terry Taylor and Irish whips, shoulder tackles, and all of the attempted tosses into the buckle. And Kernoodle, who cuts the ring off on Taylor, gets a bit of an advantage for a little while. Not exactly the type of advantage that Taylor expects him to get, but again manages to brawl a little bit, and ultimately there is a bit of fire back between the two, and Taylor manages to go at it with his adversary here. Both guys back and forth. Slaughter is annoyed at losing to Wahoo McDaniels. He's upset, but he hasn't lost the championship yet, and that's all he cares about. He says it's just a single loss, but that it doesn't really matter because of the nature of things. King Kong Mosca and Ole Anderson are out. Anderson says that he and his partner will win the championship tournament for the tag team championships. Also, Roddy Piper mocking Jake Roberts, mocking Wahoo McDaniel, mocking Jack Briscoe, wondering where Briscoe is, wondering why anybody would even care where Briscoe is. And Piper is in rare form in this deal here. Piper then goes into the ring and is fighting on a enhancement match. Keith Larson is the individual that's fighting Piper. Piper with some takedowns, but more brawling, punch, kick, chop, and other basic maneuvers, trying to rough up the kid. Piper wearing plaid almost like a kilt, takes him over with a modified power slam and does not get the level of influence that he wants. Punch, kick, and Piper is in pretty solid control along the way here. The tandem of Piper, Piper does remain in control and eventually gets the victory with the sleeper hold, almost choking him out. Anyway, the tandem of actually a couple of people, Bill White and Ken Timms and other individuals, basically here. Pretty Boy Fergie is here, and other individuals just doing basic interviews. White, sick of being overlooked, as is Fergie. Jack Briscoe says he will be the one to upset and uproot Piper. He's tired of Piper being disrespectful, and someone's going to teach him respect. And then we go into a modified, I guess, joined in progress tag match as the Briscoes go to town on a couple of enhancement matches here, or for a couple of enhancement matches here. And then highlights of Ole and Hansen, highlights of the Briscoes. Briscoes out first. Briscoes with some backdrops and other stuff like that. They're one of the 4 teams left in the tag team tournament, as are Hansen and Anderson. And again, kind of getting the Briscoes kind of using the figure 4 backdrops and other basic thing. Hansen and Anderson again with highlights. Hansen using power slams and going for the lariat. Anderson managing to obviously work over the arm, as he is wont to do. Briscoe, who's commenting on all of this, is relatively unimpressed, but Briscoe's former world champion, so he's not really going to impress that easy. Your main event of the day, Angelo King Kong Mosca and Killer Khan against Ron Ritchie and Tony Anthony. As one would expect, it's a one-sided match with the heels taking control and being dominant throughout. Hard shots by Mosca. Ritchie firing back, not exactly wanting to take too many back steps. Khan managing to be a brawler here and managing to do everything he possibly can. Shots by Khan and kicks by Angelo Mosca. Mosca managing to do everything he possibly can. Takes his man down and hits a bit of, kind of cranking on his man and basic stuff there. and ultimately Killer Khan with a attempted hip toss, punch kick, and all basic things there. Um, there are Killer Khan kind of cutting things off. Meanwhile, Jack Briscoe and Roddy Piper get into it face to face. Don Morocco says he wants to be a champion, but he's frustrated with I guess, what one could consider the lack of attention from his partner, Wahoo McDaniels, which only continues over the next several weeks and months. So we're going to go here. We'll be back with more right after this.